thought I was doing it. So you can go live.
Go.
Hey, Facebook. We still trying to get it. He hit the button. We sitting here trying to get it together on a Sunday night. Listen, it's 7 o'clock. Just do what we do. Come on, it's 7 o'clock. You know how we do every Sunday. He just trying to be fabulous tonight.
You play the song. How about that?
I'm trying to play the song, but you being all fast tonight. Listen, come on. Hit your friends up. It's 7 o'clock. Y'all know it's Sunday night date night, sheltered in with the Nightings, like we do every Sunday at 7. So come on. Tell everybody. Hey, Nicole.
Go ahead. Let me share.
So.
Go ahead, share.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, play that.
I am going to play it. I got it right here.
Go.
Okay. See, we coming on. Hey, Miss Angela.
Hey, what's up, people? We're ready. I'm just trying to make sure she's, got everything right.
Hey, Robin. We trying to do too much. That's the problem. We trying to do too much at 7 o'clock on Sunday night. Y'all go get you something to drink. Get your pen and paper because you're going to need it. You're probably going to need some tissue tonight, too. Let me just go and warn you. You're probably going to need that tonight, too. So go on, do what you got to do while he hit share because, he got to take the first few minutes to share to everybody. So, we just going to wait and do like he do, like he shares, because that's what y'all supposed to be doing. Just like he's sharing, we need you to share.
I meant to go live.
Listen. Oh, honey, you didn't do the microphone. You going to be good without it?
No, we'll go ahead and get the microphone.
Okay. So, see, we come, listen.
Okay. You charge my phone.
We trying to do it all tonight. Got it? So while we trying to get everything together.
Let's get it.
We need y'all to be sharing. Make sure y'all share. Whew, as I'm sweating. Lord, right. Hey. Here we go. Everybody sharing? Nicole said we need a secretary. We need adult supervision. Listen.
Definitely adult supervision for Tracy.
Oh, okay. Everybody good? Edward Brinson says good evening.
Hey, what's up, Ed? What's up?
Welcome to Sheltered In with the Nightings. It is Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Y'all know how we do. So make sure, number 1, that you share. Number 2, that you tell us where you watching us from.
Great conversation tonight. I mean, the topic is really, really needed. And we want to actually try to share some little tidbits to help us to make better decisions.
Oh, honey, I'm not coming
about good, godly relationships.
That's
what we're talking about tonight.
So make sure you are sharing as you're coming on, and make sure that you're telling us where you're watching us from, because it is Sunday night date night with the Nightings. It is Sheltered In with the Nightings. So, listen, tonight's hashtag is #LoveMore. How about that? Does that sound good?
Love me more.
Love me more. #Love me more. How about that? Let's get it done. So, this wonderful song playing, but my tablet is tripping tonight like it don't even want to play the song. It's just, bless our hearts.
I got it.
You got it? Okay. So, listen. Y'all had us cracking up. When's that? Wednesday night. Y'all know how we do. After
Joe, more and more. We're talking about more. I should have loved me more. So I figured I'd let Joe play in the background. No, it's not gospel. It's okay though. It's okay.
It ain't gospel? No. Mine's still spinning.
It's okay. I've already shared everywhere. I need y'all to share now. I need y'all to share.
So we just gonna wait on y'all to share. So take a moment and share. Y'all sharing? Okay.
Hey, where's I need to share some pages.
Wait, where's that nephew?
Yeah, I was gonna say Justin. Where's Justin?
Where's Justin? Somebody, y'all better get Justin on here. We don't see our nephew on here. Our hashtag tonight is Love Me More. The title of tonight's talk, simply, it's not you, it's me. I should have loved me more. And that's what we're going to talk about. Listen, more and more. We want to make sure that there's more of you, more love for you, because the better you are, the better you show up in your relationships. So we want to make sure, listen, you got to love you first.
We're waiting on y'all.
Yep.
I'm waiting about another minute. We're going to get started.
Y'all saw how you did that? Watch. We're gonna wait on y'all. We waiting on y'all tonight.
Waiting on you. Waiting on y'all to share. This is going to be
y'all
good
sharing
tonight. Good conversation.
Are they sharing, honey?
I guess so.
Okay.
Tamika Williams on here.
I don't see Tamika. I don't see Justin.
That's okay. They'll be on.
I'm going to get
You
Justin
might
for
be
being
halfway
late.
done though.
I'm going to get Justin for being late. Y'all make sure y'all get Justin.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Y'all ready? It's not you. It's me. I should have loved me more. More and more.
Y'all ready? What's that say right there?
What? More and more.
Oh, that's Nicole putting the title
More
up tonight.
and more. Nicole said we need a secretary.
She's the secretary tonight.
Listen, our hashtag for tonight is hashtag love me more. Make sure you are sharing this as you are coming on, and then tell us where you guys are watching us from. Listen, we like comments to us, comment to each other. Let's have some fun this Sunday night, Labor Day weekend.
Gwen Warren in the house. Okay, we're waiting on you, Gwen. We weren't going to start till I saw Gwen Warren's name pick up.
There you go.
Come up on the screen.
It's officially the official,
All of our
unofficial last day of
viewers.
summer. Isn't it? Labor Day
about
weekend? Yeah.
Labor Day
Day weekend is the official, unofficial last weekend of summer. So listen, grown and sexy, real raw and relevant.
Grown and sexy, that's an old school.
I said grown and sexy?
Old school
Grown and
comment.
sexy.
We don't do that.
No, I'm talking about grown and sexy with Joe. Joe's song is grown and sexy.
Oh,
more
okay.
and more.
I was about to say.
That's a grown and sexy song. That's an old song.
Yeah, but that phrase is old too.
But what I'm saying is Joe's
I got
song
you, I
is
got you,
old.
I got
Okay,
you, I got you.
golly.
We good.
Oh, we so good. Anyway, people, make sure that you tell us where you guys are watching us from. And if you haven't watched, I haven't recovered from Wednesday night, but I'm back for more.
Who didn't recover?
Who was that who said I didn't recover from Wednesday night? I got to go back and get that. Angela said she hasn't recovered from Wednesday night.
Oh, Miss Alicia in the house tonight. Miss Mendes, what's up?
Miss Alicia, we were missing you Wednesday. We missed you Wednesday.
Justin on. Okay, Justin. It's time we can get started now. Justin
We get started now.
Yeah.
All right.
Get started now.
So we laughing at y'all. Okay. All right. So you know how I do. I gotta bring on the Facebook family because we can only have an hour with them. Y'all ready? We ready to get started?
We ready to get started.
All right.
Make sure I get Xavier on here. All right, let's go.
Okay. All right.
Are we ready? Let's get it.
Nicole say, leave me alone.
All right, let's get it.
All right.
Good evening, everybody. Listen, we are ready to have a good conversation with y'all tonight. Y'all stay tuned. Get your pen and paper out. Want to just share some things that's really going to help us all to become better. And again, we always say at the start of our talks that we are not experts. We're just experienced. Both made mistakes. We're just trying to help other people become better. Thank y'all for coming in, tuning in, watching us. We are definitely appreciative of the fact that y'all are here. Make sure y'all share because we are ready to roll. Let's get started.
You ready?
That's it.
You
That's
ready?
it. I'm ready.
All right. Listen, you know he is manning the iPad, so make
That's it.
sure if you got some comments, if you got some questions, listen, we're going to put them right on the spot. So that's how we roll here. If this is your first time joining us, Sheltered In with the Nightons on Sunday night at 7, welcome to our humble home. We appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with us. Listen, Big Brother LK is manning the iPad, so for those of you, if this is your first time coming on, send it in. We address questions as they pop up. We ain't scared. We just experienced. And we love to share our experience.
Let's
with
get
you.
it.
So listen, tonight's topic is simply this. It's not you. It's me. I should have loved me more. You got it?
Got it.
All right. So, you know how I like to do. I always open us up with a place for us to get our thought process started on the same playing field.
Let's
Because
get it.
usually when we have our topics, you might be one place, I might be somewhere else. But I always like to give a story, or I'll always like to drop some information so that we can all start on the same playing field. So tonight, it's not you. It's me. I should have loved myself more.
And before she gets started, I want to say this, that literally a lot of times we always end up blaming someone else for the relationship going south. When the truth of the matter is we have to take a look at us and the foundational issues, if you will, of why we are like we are. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So it's going to be a really serious conversation. Yeah. But we're going to try to throw a little fun in there, but we want to make sure that this message really gets across because it's going to resonate with all of us. And tonight, our acronym, I should have loved me more. More is going to be our acronym that we're going to take this foundation from and move into some real serious conversation. So thank y'all so much. Get it started, young lady.
Listen, okay. So I had a friend a couple of weeks ago. We were talking to each other, kind of sharing, and she told me that she had to have emergency surgery. I was like, what? What you had to have emergency surgery for, girl? And she was like, girl, I had a ruptured appendix, and I didn't even know it. I was like, wait a minute, how you not know that you had a ruptured appendix? She said, well, I was feeling all right. I was going through my day, going to work, because she's up north and they had started going back to work. She's like, I was going through my day, doing my thing, and she's an avid, she works out, she's pretty healthy. She's like, I was going through my day and I thought, the first sign was I was just a little sore. I said, okay. She says, but I kind of ignored that because I was working out, doing some things. I was like, oh, okay. She said, then I started getting nauseated. And I said, well, did that happen all in the same day? She says, well, no, that's how I started ignoring the signs, because it was happening over a couple of days. So it wasn't like, boom, here's the sign,
right.
But it was a series of signs. So then the next thing she noticed was, in addition to the pain that she was feeling in her abdomen and the nausea that she was experiencing, then she realized she had a temperature. So her first thought was COVID, but then she was like, no, this is something different. So next thing she knows, a few hours later, she's doubled over in pain. So her husband takes her to the emergency room. Come to find out, her appendix was about to burst. Now, think about it this way. If she had ignored those signs, if she had continued to go on with life as usual, doing what she was doing, being great, going to work, living her best life, working out, taking care of the kids, her and her husband doing their thing, if she had ignored the signs, the appendix would have burst, and it would have caused her to have sepsis in her blood.
And possibly kill her.
And possibly kill her. What am I trying to say to you all tonight is this. There are signs in relationships that when a relationship is not for you, you ignore. We ignore, because I was in that boat too. We ignore them. And we hope that they go away. We medicate them. We ignore them. We turn away to the other side. We try to talk and rationalize them. Go back and watch last week's, Wednesday's video about that rationalization of things. And listen, what can end up happening is the very thing that you ignore can be the very thing that comes back, and in her case, could have killed her. So my question to you tonight is simply this. What are you ignoring, or what have you ignored in your relationship that could come back and cause you to realize you should have loved you more?
Let me get started. I want all of you to really think about this question, and I'm really going to be kind of serious. Well, I'm always serious, but I don't know if I'm going to have as much joking tonight, because this is some really serious information.
You going to be serious tonight,
I'm going to be serious. I'm always serious. Nicole told me to behave.
Okay, behave.
So I'm going to try to behave tonight. But listen, on a serious note, I want to get started with this question. One of the things that I have recognized is that a father is supposed to play a major role in the children's upbringing. Listen to me good. A father is supposed to be the one that sets the stage for their children, boy or girl. So I want you to hear me, because the role of a father, let me just deal with just a couple of things. The role of a father, the role of a father is he's supposed to be the one who helps develop them emotionally. He helps to develop the children emotionally. And what is so interesting, and when he plays his role, he ends up building the self-confidence of his children. Yes. I'm going to say it again. The dad is supposed to play the role of the one who gives their children emotional development. They help play that role. And we're talking about physically and emotionally. Hear me good now. And not only that, but a father is supposed to also be the one to set the bar. Listen to me. Woo. He's supposed to be the one to set the bar for other relationships. For his kids. So hear me good now. So whatever he sees his father doing, he's actually setting the bar, setting the standard for how that child is going to view other relationships, whether it's with teachers, whether it's with schools, whether it's with each other, whether it's with boyfriend, girlfriend.
Okay.
They are supposed to set the role, the standard, the bar for their children as it relates to other relationships. Are y'all listening to me?
Come on now, because
and
you
so
talking
not
good
only
already.
that, but a
It's
father
just
is
7:20.
supposed to also be the one that sets the standard for his daughter. His daughter is supposed to be able to identify how a man is supposed to treat her based on how he sees her treating other women. Y'all better listen to me tonight. I'm trying to keep it serious right now. I don't know if I'm going to have time for joking around tonight.
My God.
And so if she doesn't see a good relationship, she doesn't know what to look for to be able to even identify what a good relationship looks like. Now, we're talking about the role of a father now. And let's go a little further. But not only that, but boys, the father is supposed to even allow the boys to see how he's supposed to treat women.
That's good.
Are y'all listening to me? I'm trying to help you now. Because all of this plays a major detrimental role in how we grow up to see relationships.
Yeah.
I hope y'all are listening to me, because this is going to be kind of serious tonight. And I want you to hear me, because not only that, but we got to realize that children are going to imitate what they see. They're going to imitate what they see. So listen, out of all that I just said, listen to me good. How many of you, don't answer it on the screen, because this is going to really sort of throw us off. Don't answer it on the screen.
Put, I know somebody.
Just say, I know somebody.
I know somebody.
If you know somebody that can honestly say, I did not have a father who actually showed me how a man is supposed to treat me as a woman. I did not have, if you're a man on here, I did not have a man to really show me how I was supposed to treat a woman in the right way now, because most of us have learned how to treat women in the wrong way. I'll say it like that. And the truth of the matter is, what I'm saying is, that's why we got to understand how important it is for a father to take his rightful place in his children's lives in the positive way, so that the kids can grow up seeing what a real relationship is supposed to be like. But here's the dilemma. Here's the problem. Don't tell nobody I told you this. Most of us, if we're honest, did not have that father that played that role.
My God.
Therein lies the problem.
My God.
It's not you, it's me. I should have loved me more. So you can't love yourself more if you don't know what that looks like. If you didn't have a father to show you that this is how a man's supposed to treat you. Or fellas, if you did not have a father who showed you this is how you treat a wife. This is how you treat your girlfriend. You treat her with honor, respect, dignity, all that stuff. You make sure that you are always respectful of her. And the list goes on and on. And the truth of the matter is that most of us grew up imitating what we seen somebody else, what we seen in our household, or whatever the case may be. So I was talking to somebody the other day. So listen, I was talking to another fella the other day, and I had him to sort of go back to his childhood, and he was saying that one of the things is, a lot of times what we do, we end up saying our mom, because we grew up in a single family, she's got different men coming through the house. So he grows up thinking that a man is supposed to go through and have different women. So they bring all of these different men in the house, and the boys grow up thinking that that's the right thing to do. And so what we end up doing is normalizing abnormality.
Ouch.
I'm through talking for right now. Keep going.
Right there.
Keep talking. I'm through.
Normalize abnormal behavior.
Yes.
We normalize the abnormal. So I want to go back and touch on something that you said earlier.
Let's talk.
Was that what a father does is a father gives us our identity.
Yeah. Sure. Supposed to.
He helps us when we take on that father's last name, because back in the day, your name meant something.
Right, exactly.
So when you took on your father's name, you took on a good name that meant something.
Right.
And so your father, back in the day, would bring you up with the foundation of what that good name actually meant.
For sure.
So if his name meant something in the community of which he was a part of, he wanted to make sure that as his daughter, you were taken care of by him until he approved of the next guy that was supposed to be your husband, who would take care of you. If you were his son, he had to make sure that you, as his namesake, kept the good name going forward. So it's not you, it's me. I should have loved me more, meaning that I should have followed what my father put in place as a woman, making sure that the man that I took his name was a man that took care of me. Now, let me put a pin in that, because what we think sometimes as women, we think when we say you take care of me, that it's all financial. Yeah, and it's all financial. Yeah, and it's not.
The other part that I want to just drop in there from what you're saying is that also, so when women grow up without a real man who shows them what real love looks like, they end up a lot of times looking for a father figure.
Oh, yeah.
And so in relationships, that's why they end up marrying their father.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, they end up marrying what they think is their father.
There you go. They marry the fallacy of their father.
Fallacy of their father.
Yes,
and that's the issue that we are dealing with in our culture, in our community, because we have that to where women are looking for what they thought should have been that father role, and they end up getting it in another man, and it's not what they end up thinking was supposed to be, because they didn't even have a real identity of what a man was supposed to do.
Or
I'm
didn't
talking
even have
good
an
right now.
identity of who they are.
Right,
who they are to present themselves as the person who's looking for the right man.
Right.
Because if I'm presenting to myself, and here's where counseling can be challenging for therapists. When as a therapist, here's where my therapy is a challenge for me when it comes to my clients. When I have to help them understand the context of who they are.
Right.
Because when your context is not matching up to what you're trying to bring in, meaning the content, your context says that, I grew up in a single parent home. I didn't know how to love. I grew up from a woman who was abusive or a dad who abused my mom. That's your context. Now you're trying to bring in content, meaning a good man, a man who wants to love you and wants to adore you and wants to treat you like the precious vessel that you are. Right. You can't accept it because your context is jacked up because of your upbringing.
Yeah, and I like what Nicole says. Nicole says men back in the day, like her father's age, I think she said her dad just turned in her 70 or 70 something, they never showed emotions. And so literally that's still the case today. That's why a lot of men have an issue talking because, again, I shared this before, and I think it's worth sharing again because we have a lot of new people on here. One of the things that I talked about a while back is, and it's reality, if you really hear me good, it's reality. So not only did men, my dad's age, my dad would have been 82, Nicole's dad is in his 70s or just turned 70, or whatever the case may be. Parents been married 50 years, I think I just saw the other day.
That baby boomer generation.
The point that I'm making is, they did not know how to express their emotions. Yeah. And so they passed that on to their sons. Exactly. So their sons grew up not knowing how to express their emotions. Then their sons grew up not knowing how to express their emotions. So we have a complete cycle that's continuous because of the fact that nobody showed us, nobody taught us how to share and show our emotions. And it was one because as we were coming up, this is what I talked about the other week, as boys we were always taught, hey man, listen, man up, big boys don't cry. So what you're telling us is that when we're hurting, when we're bleeding, when we've scratched ourselves up or busted our head to the white meat, you're telling me don't show my emotions. Yeah. You're saying I'm hurting, but you're telling me no, suck it up. Big boys don't cry. So now we can this cycle of us not knowing how to show our emotions, and that's why women time getting out of us what's in us, because we're not going to put ourselves in a vulnerable position to be let down because now we were taught not to show our emotions, and you wanted me to tell you what's wrong, and I can't do it because I'm vulnerable right now in that area. That's too touchy for me, and that's the issue that we're having. So listen, it wasn't you, it was me. I should have loved me more. Now let's keep talking.
And I like what LaRon said. LaRon said you just have to man up. Men have a hard time showing emotions because Lawrence always, Big Brother LK, that's what I'm going to start calling you, Big Brother LK, because this is the big brother you wish you had when you started dating. Big Brother LK always talks about boys learning early that it's not okay for you to show your emotions because what LaRon said, you'd be viewed as being weak.
And I really like what LaRon says. He said, that's why I blame myself for my daughter's being or having any damage emotionally because I didn't have the identity to show them. But that's why I have been going out and teaching myself to show them from this point forward. It's never too late. And that's what we got to have as men. And I appreciate the men who are on here and really men who are sharing, because that's the issue, is that we don't realize that we do a lot of damage to our kids because we didn't know how to show emotions, because we didn't know how to embrace our kids and tell them that we love them, tell them that they're beautiful, hug them, share, whatever the case may be. And again, I share this all the time because I got one son. My son and his mom and I divorced when he was 2. But from the time he was born, I used to always say, if I ever had kids, my kids. I only got one biological. I got 2. I better say 2 now.
We got a daughter.
But anyway, the point I'm making is, I always used to say to myself, I will never have a child who grows up saying that my dad never said I love you. My dad never said I'm proud of you. And I wanted to make sure that that cycle was broken with me, because I never heard it. I never heard my dad say I love you. I never heard my dad say I'm proud of you, because they didn't know how to show their emotions. So my son is 33 now. If I call him right now, he gets off the phone, he gonna beat me saying it, or I'm gonna beat him saying it, that I love you, because that's what we have, and we want to try to break that cycle. If he walked in that door right now, he gonna bear hug me, and I'm gonna kiss him on his cheek at 33 years old, and that's my son, and ain't nothing funny about me.
Didn't y'all tell him to behave?
Y'all told him to behave. I'm trying to keep it exciting. Okay, I'm sorry.
He can't do it.
I'm sorry.
So I want to go back, and I want to pick up on what you were talking about when it comes to it's never too late, because they're saying it's absolutely never too late to learn how to express yourself. You got to think, if you're wanting to be in relationships that build you up, that make you feel important, that make you, that empower you, that you bring out the best in that person, and that person brings out the best in you, and you can grow this relationship. You have to be emotionally connected. There is no way that it will not happen without that emotional connection.
There's no way that it will happen, you mean, without emotional connection.
Yeah, is that what I said?
Yeah, you said it will not happen. But
yeah,
here's the thing, and this is why this is really a great conversation for us tonight. Because if we're gonna have healthy relationships with each other, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to say,
mother, daughter, mother,
we've
son,
got to get to the point where
every
we start
relationship
to understand that we need to love ourselves more, because you can only give what you know. And if you don't really, and it's amazing because, and we're going to deal with this towards the end, it's amazing because if you ask the average person, do you love yourself? Yeah, I love myself.
I love myself.
Yeah,
I take myself out to the movies.
But we're going to show you whether or not you've really been loving yourself by the time this is over with. So I need y'all, I'm serious now, I need y'all to share this, because our people need to hear this kind of information. And we try to keep everything as real as possible, because we've been sugarcoating stuff for too long. And that's not who I am. That's not what I do. I'm going to give it to you raw. I'm going to give it to you with no chaser, because that's what we need to hear. And I need y'all to share this video, because other people need to hear this conversation. Because listen, it wasn't you, it's me. I should have just loved myself more.
I needed to love me more.
Yes. Now let's share the page.
Yeah.
We ain't trying to get a whole lot of, you just trying to help people. That's all we're trying to do. Now go ahead. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So, listen, I want you to think about this for a second. The last relationship you were in, yeah, everybody there? Y'all got your thought back? Yep, got it? Got that person in your head? Okay, good. Whether you're still in that relationship, or that relationship ended for whatever reason, I've said this before, until you do a relationship autopsy, you will continue to repeat the same behavior. And what's going to happen is you're going to start blaming the other people in these relationships that they didn't present themselves one way or the other. But I'm going to challenge you tonight, because we're going to find out whether or not you love yourself or not.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to challenge you tonight to think this. There's one common denominator in all of these relationships. And if all of these relationships are not working, be it your relationship with your child, your relationship with the people on your job, your relationship with your significant boo, your babe, your girl, your boy, whatever you want to call him, the common denominator is you. So if you're not presenting yourself as the best you that you can, then one can only surmise that it's not you, it's me. I should have loved myself more. I should be doing more for me, so the best me could show up in all of my relationships.
So here's another thing, man. LaRon, I need to get you on here with us on a serious note, or we get on there on your show, whatever the case may be, because these are the type conversations that we need to have. He says, even when we go out as men and use women for sex, this causes damaging results, regardless of the understanding of it being just about sex. It says, with this emotional issue in a man, it seems easy to use women for just, and that's what we got to, listen, this is what we got to understand. Number one, men have not learned how to communicate what
No.
we're dealing with. So we have
Right.
emotional issues that we have.
Right.
And so our way of self-soothing is either going to be drugs or
Yep.
sex or whatever the case.
Pornography,
It's going to be something that
whatever.
causes
Yep.
us to show what we're lacking, if you will.
Yes.
And most times for a man that's a real man, he's going to use it for sex. And that's why I want y'all to hear me on this, ladies, because a lot of times y'all ladies think that, I better say this right. Most times
Don't
y'all,
mix it up, we grown.
I'm saying it the right way. I'm
Okay.
saying most women think that if he's married or if we're in a serious relationship, that he shouldn't. I can't understand why he went and cheated because we're married. We're this. Why did he step out?
Yeah.
And you don't realize it ain't about him being at a place where he didn't love you. It's just that sorry to say it, was his way of showing or expressing his
That
hurt.
something- yeah.
That something's wrong.
Right.
And so, for instance, if there's not communication in the house because he doesn't know how to express himself,
Right.
because he's going to be seen as weak. If he does express himself, he'll just ignore it, avoid arguing, and he'll just go out and find somebody else that he can just release his vent
Right.
to.
Right.
And again,
And it's
there's
not
never been another
necessarily
conversation about it.
emotional.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not emotional at
Yeah.
all. We don't have no connection.
Right. So
Most
it's
times no
hurt on
connection.
top of hurt, on top of hurt, on top of hurt.
And we don't
on
know how
top
to
of
soothe.
hurt.
We don't know
Right.
how to. We don't know how to regulate our emotions.
Right, exactly. So what ends up happening is women, we turn to each other. We will have conversations with each other to help each other feel
We
better.
have nobody to vent to.
Men don't have anybody to vent to. And like LaRon and Big Brother LK was saying, it's seen as weak for them to voice their pain, their hurt, their anger, their frustration. It's seen weak to them to talk about relationships that didn't work. So in a man's world, if a relationship don't work, you just go on to the next low-hanging fruit and you keep it moving. Somewhere, some way, you're going to start feeling better. Whereas women, we want to talk to each other. We want to engage with each other.
And here's the thing. And the truth of the matter is, and this is with anybody, when you're hurting, male or female, and you don't get help for your hurt, what you end up doing is hurting everybody else you come in contact with. And that's why I always try to share with women and men. Don't get into a relationship with a man unless you know for a fact that he's been healed from his past hurts, whether childhood or otherwise, because we're counseling in therapy, in therapeutic sessions with grown men, grown women who just didn't realize that my childhood is what has me jacked up. I never even thought about it from that perspective. I'm talking to a grown men a lot of times, and I'm saying, let's go back to your childhood.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, you know what? That I never thought that did play a role, and it does.
Right.
And so we end up hurting every woman that we come in contact with because we're hurting, and we think we've gotten past what it is that we have seen as a kid or experienced as a kid.
Right.
And what we end up doing is not understanding that when you don't get therapy, when you don't get help, you end up hurting everybody else that you run in contact with. And I promise you, we've got to do a better job of being men, throwing our pride aside, throwing our ego aside, and getting some help for your hurt, because if not, you're going to continue hurting everybody you come in contact with. And so let me say this again to the ladies, and I'm saying this to the men as well, but most times I'm saying this to the ladies because y'all are the ones who end up saying that the men are not doing right, the men are damaging us, but you don't realize it's only because you have not discovered or have not found out whether or not he has been healed from his past hurts.
Right. And creating, for those of you who are married and you're saying, well, listen, my husband don't talk to me. He's just not that type of guy. Listen. Everybody wants to be heard. I don't care who you are. Is that not true, honey?
No question.
Every man wants to be heard. And in order to allow a man to be heard in a relationship, ladies, we got to create the safe environment for them to share. You keep saying, well, my husband don't talk to me. My husband don't share. My husband don't do this. You got to take a look at yourself. What environment are you creating that helps him to be able to be transparent with you? Because listen, men are taught early on to be guarded. Ladies, we're not. We grow up with our fairy tales. We start learning early on that we're going to live this life happily ever after. Men are not taught that way. So we have to create the environment for them to be able to share.
And that's the key to it, because it's extremely difficult for a man to share his emotions, if he doesn't feel a safe space. And most times women don't give men a safe space because they end up using it against them later on if things don't go well.
Come on.
They end up using it against them later on if things don't go well. And that's why I want you to know now, you got to be able to admit sometimes, you know what, it may not be them, it's probably me. I should have loved me more.
Yeah.
And again, I want y'all to understand that we've got to do a better job of taking care of our queens and kings. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is by giving this type of information to help us to understand. We have to start giving it to you as real as we can get it, because other than that, it's going to be the same cycle over and over again.
How sad. So listen, we got a question for you tonight. Do you really love you?
Do you really love you?
Really. Do you really love yourself? Well, let's see. Do you love you more?
And this is tonight's session. We're going to actually give the acronym for MORE. And what we want to do with that is be able to get you to see rather whether or not you can say, you know what?
I really do.
It was me. I should have loved me more.
I should have loved me more.
And so these are going to be ways to identify if you didn't love yourself more.
All right. So y'all ready? Y'all got your pen and paper? Ready? Here we go. The M in the word more.
I need y'all to write this down now. Write this
down.
All
right. Y'all ready?
Here
we go. The M stands for managing your baggage. I should have loved me more. And the M stands for I should have managed my baggage.
Manage my baggage.
Manage your baggage. Listen, truth of the matter is we all got baggage. If you grown, if you young, if you're living in this earth, you've got some type of baggage. Whether it's your own baggage or whether it's baggage that you're carrying from people who raised you. Sometimes some of us are carrying baggage from people who raised us and they gave us their baggage to carry and we didn't even realize it.
Listen to me now. When we talk about manage your baggage. You didn't manage your baggage. A lot of times we sweep things under the rug and act like it's not an issue. Let me give you a good example.
Yeah.
I was talking to a young lady one time, and not dating, but saying in conversation as far as therapy. Okay. And one of the things that I detected, I said to her, because I try to hear beyond what's being said. And so what I was discovering is that, and that's not in a therapy like in a counseling session where I'm saying somebody's business, I'm saying people that I know personally. So this is not a counseling session. Okay. This is just somebody that I knew personally. And the thing about it is, a lot of times what women do, they will masquerade their mess, meaning they'll try to hide behind it, and they'll try to.
Did y'all feel that? I felt that. Masquerade, put mascara on our mess. Yes. What?
Yeah.
Come
on now.
That's
what we do a lot of times, even as men. But the point I'm making is, we talk about managing your baggage. What we end up doing is not really dealing with the very things that hurt us as kids. Yes. So it could have been rejection. It could have been molestation. It could have been a number of things that see, for instance, like you'll find people in relationships where the woman says, I don't want him bothering me, or the guy says, he don't want me touching her. And a lot of times it's because of what they dealt with in their past. It's not, it has nothing to do with that individual. It has to do with the fact that whenever they feel like they want to be intimate with them, it's now violating me, making me go back to my childhood when my cousin or my uncle or whoever else violated me. And the person that you're dealing with has to deal with the residue of what happened in your past, and it had nothing to do with them. And that's the problem that we're having. We have so many people that's dealing with the residue of somebody else's issues because we didn't manage our baggage.
That's it. You carrying other folks' baggage that's not even your own baggage. So let me give you another example. There's generational baggage that people carry. So Lawrence brought up a real good example when it comes to that molestation. There are generations, there are families who have generational rapists and molesters in their family.
Oh, God, yeah.
And nobody has been able to come to the forefront. So what ends up happening is it gets swept under the rug and nobody talks about it. So as we go from relationship to relationship, those people in that family are incapable of having good relationships because of generational issues that are just passed on from generation to generation. Alcoholism is another one that people deal with. It's just swept under the rug. Well, you just know on family occasions when we have Christmas holidays, just get ready because you know it's coming. They're gonna drink a lot, But I call it generational curses, generational issues just continue to go down the line because nobody addresses it.
Right, and you have that. You have kids who have been violated by a family member. You got that kid's mom, and so it's a cycle, and nobody believes them, or nobody is wanting to be the one who jumps out front and says, "Yeah, they violated me."
Right,
and so the cycle continues, and what you end up doing is getting in a relationship with somebody else, and now they got to carry that baggage. So you're carrying the baggage everywhere you go because you won't deal with it, because you won't come face to face and say, you know what, I think I do need to go get some therapy. And it's okay to get therapy.
It's
I promise
okay.
you.
You can have Jesus and a therapist.
It's healthy to get a therapist, because you've got to get that out, because you're trying to figure out why you can't have healthy relationships. It's because you haven't learned how to manage your baggage.
Right. And in some instances, parents will then turn around and overcompensate for the kids and try to make up for what didn't happen, what happened to them as a child. They overcompensate for their own kids, and now their kids are bearing the brunt because they can't go out and socialize and be with other kids because the parents are so afraid that the same thing that happened to them when they were a kid is not going to happen to their kid. So listen, you got to manage your baggage. You got to love you more. That's what the M stands for. The O stands for, because we got to go. We got 15 more minutes with y'all. Golly, time flies. Listen, the O stands for, did you observe the warnings? Did you observe
Notice
the warning
my facial
signs?
expressions. Did you observe?
We talked about these flags. We got the pink flags, the red flags, and the flags on fire. Did you observe the warning signs?
You know what? And that's one... because a lot of times we want to blame somebody else.
Ooh.
It's not you, it's me, because I didn't observe the warning signs.
Listen.
I should have loved me more and not overlook those warning signs.
The warning signs.
And the thing about
Give them some warning signs, honey.
Plenty of warning signs.
Come on now.
I mean, and the
Come
thing
on, big
about
brother.
it is we got to be able to be honest with ourselves, ladies and men.
Yes.
Because even men, we get to the point where we overlook warning signs. We overlook...
the cussing outs.
All that type of stuff.
Yeah.
We overlooked the fact that she wasn't taking care of her children properly, but because you wanted her so bad, you just overlooked all that. Now you got a kid with her, and you're trying to figure out now why she ain't doing right. Well, you knew that.
You overlooked the fact that she texts you and call you and texts you and call you and texts you and call you.
Yeah, sign of fatal attraction.
Come
you
on
just
now.
overlook that stuff. I be thanking God every day. I said, God, out of all my years of dating, you ain't never allowed. You always kept the fatal attractions away from me. It's like I always can sniff out. Leave her alone. Leave her alone now. That's a fatal attraction.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
I don't know. We have poor connection. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But let me just say this on a serious note. One of the other things we talking about, we didn't observe the warnings. Observe the warnings. Let me talk to the ladies and the men, especially the ladies though.
Okay.
I want you to hear me on this. If you run into a man that just got out of a relationship, just got out of a marriage, that's a warning sign.
Wait, hold on.
Because somebody asked a question the other week. Well, how long should we go without dating? Without dating a person that just came out of a marriage or whatever the case may be, vice versa, lady or man.
Okay.
But the truth is, a person has to have time to heal.
Yes.
When they come out of a relationship like that, because it's damaging. But again, here's again, a man comes out of it in 2 weeks, he's with somebody else. He hadn't had time to heal, and then you're jumping into a relationship with him
and expecting
him to do you better. And it's not going to happen because he had time to heal. So now he's bringing more baggage to you. And you don't understand. Eventually, you're going to crash. Just mark my words on that. Eventually, you're going to crash.
Oh, my.
Because the same thing he did to the last person, the same thing going to happen to you.
Right.
What makes you think you're going to be so different?
I can change him.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
I can change him.
But the point I'm making is we got to get to the point of understanding. Warning signs are there for a reason.
Exactly.
Warning signs are there for a reason. You've got to be able to manage your baggage. That's the M. You got to be able to observe the warning signs. Don't be so desperate to get into a relationship that you overlook the warning signs. And that's when you know that you should have loved you more, because you overlooked. You didn't observe the warning sign. And the warning signs are always there.
Always.
It's like after the relationship, you say to yourself, I saw that. I don't know why I let that go. It's because you wanted to be in a relationship so bad. So he, cursed you out and said, I'm sorry.
Text you, call you, stalk you, undercover stalk you, and you think it's cute. Yeah.
It's just you gotta stop overlooking the warning signs.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
all.
do it. You
gotta
gotta do
You
it.
gotta observe them now.
You gotta do it.
Don't overlook them. I'm
You gotta
saying
do it.
men too, because we do that.
Yeah.
She fine, man. Listen, I don't care if she got 8 children by 7 different baby daddies.
Come on now.
She know how to rock my world, so we overlook the warning signs.
You overlook them.
Now,
There's a reason why she got 8 children with 7 different baby daddies.
y'all better hear me. I'm trying to help y'all now. And
Come
I'm
on
not,
now.
you know, I'm just saying that you got to be honest with yourself. Again, we
Remember,
don't have any
that's-
conversations
right.
that we have not dealt with.
Right. Remember, we said that desperation has a scent. And so men are natural hunters. And when you smell desperate, you look desperate, and you act desperate, you end up becoming low-hanging fruit. So here you are trying to get something out of this relationship when he already knows. We said this 2 weeks ago? A week ago, we said this already. Men already know what department you're going to be in when they get with you from the get-go. They've already departmentalized and compartmentalized you. Listen, our big brothers were telling us that. Ladies, you got to do better. Men, you got to do it too. You got to love you more. The M stands for manage your baggage. The O stands for observe the signs. Here's what I like. I love this R. This R is amazing. Listen, did you research your partner?
Now, Kirsten says that we overlook it because we're looking at potential most of the time. Ain't nothing wrong with looking at potential. We'll talk about that later.
How old is this person that you're trying to find potential in? I'm going to leave that right there. Okay.
But anyway,
the R stands
let's
for
deal with the R.
research your partner.
Research your partner now.
Now listen, I'm going to let Big Brother LK do this.
This goes both ways.
This is whole Big Brother status right here. Listen, y'all have got to listen to this. Go ahead, Big Brother.
This goes both ways now. In this day of social media,
yes.
in this day of
come on now.
easily being able to find out information, research.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look at who their friends are.
Yes.
Look at what they're posting.
Come on now.
That tells a lot about a man or a woman.
NCISL.
Listen to me good now. I'm going to give an example of this, and this is factual.
It's facts.
One of our church members a few years ago, probably at least 10 years ago now, she introduced me to this guy, and he was like maybe 14 years older than her at the time. 14 years older than her at the time. I said, listen to me, girl. I said this in front of him after Bible study one night. I said, listen to me. I said, something's not right with that. So the guy's looking at me because I'm gonna protect the sheep. I don't care nothing about no wolf. I don't care nothing about that. I'm concerned about the sheep of the house.
Yes.
And so I was trying to tell her, I said, something's not right. He's too old. Why would he want to date somebody this young? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that age don't, make a difference. For some people, age ain't nothing but, Aaliyah said, age ain't nothing but a number. But for some people, what you got to realize, when a man dates a really younger, when I say like a lot younger, 15, 16 years old, to me, it's just a little something. I ain't knocking nobody. Because some of y'all may have an old